Welcome to Contributor Experience. Today is Wednesday, December 5th. You are participating in a publicly recorded meeting, which will be posted to YouTube later. So please keep in mind that we have a code of conduct that loosely boils down to don't be a jerk. This week is super exciting. We're preparing for CubeCon. So we'll probably have a bunch to talk about that's CubeCon specific. But before we do that, let's run through our recurring business. So is there anybody here that's new to this SIG that would like to introduce themselves?
Ken?
Yes.
I heard a
Yes.
yes.
I am Edward from Mexico. This is my first time here and also my first time contributing to an open source project. And
Hey.
Yay,
yeah,
welcome.
I'll be working on the developer guide. So Paris is going to be my mentor for the next 3 months. So I'm here. Hi.
Awesome.
Welcome.
Happy to meet you. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yes, don't bombard him all at once. I know everybody has opinions about developer guide, so I'm working with him this week on sort of an onboarding process. A lot of you that are on this line right now are on that list. If anybody does have any opinions about onboarding for developer guide stuff, hit me up on Slack, and then we can chat about getting that on there.
Cool. Anybody else?
Hi, yeah, I'm also new.
All right. I am Murphy, I think.
Yep, sorry, my name is Martin. So I'm new to this meeting and new to Kubernetes as well. Hoping to get involved, and I've been looking around for a place to start. This seems like a good place.
Welcome. Happy to have you. And I think I heard one more voice.
I didn't catch it.
Hello.
Hi. You want to introduce yourself?
Abubakar Sadiq. You can call me Ninai. I've been watching the 113 release quietly in the shadows. I've been shadowed to the patch release team. But I haven't formally introduced myself, so I think I might introduce myself now. So that's me. Sorry, I'm in a meeting. Yeah, it happens. So how do you call it? My full-time job, I'm a sysadmin, but I spend time writing code. Have been working with how do you call it? CubeBench, the Kubernetes, what do you call it? Security tool, or how do you call it? Security compliance tool. And so I just decided to join Kubernetes and see what's going on here with the team. So that's me. That's all from me.
Cool. Thank you very much, and welcome everybody. Okay, welcome. Let's see, we've done the welcome. Regular program updates. The community call this week is basically going to be nothing but a SIG release retrospective. Is that correct?
Yeah,
That is correct. Oh, sorry.
Okay, and do we have a moderator for that?
So usually the release team kind of runs themselves. We just need someone to kind of do the intro, the whole repeat on YouTube stuff.
That's totally fine. Traditionally, though, there does need to be a moderator for the retrospective, somebody who has not actually participated in the release, because those individuals usually have a lot of talking to do. And we want somebody who's aware enough to keep us from rat-holing.
Jace and myself both said that we would do it if no one else stepped up. AKA, we really don't want to do it, but we will if we have to.
I would appreciate that. As someone
Yeah.
who's reviewed the SIG ContribEx charter, I know that facilitating retrospectives is something the SIG offers. So if there's anybody else here who feels that they would like to give that a shot, I think Paris or Jace would both really appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be there for the stream and we'll help out when I can. It's just hard. It's hard to host a stream at the same time.
I completely understand.
Yeah,
All right,
but
well, so
I'll be there
let's
for
just
you though.
Put me. Let's just put me.
All right, we'll put
I'll
Paris, but
redistribute.
feel free to ping Paris if you'd like to give it a shot. It's a really great. We all respect the moderator and give moderator full authority to shut people down when they've prattled on for too long, because we really appreciate being kept to our time boxes.
And also, this is based on the retrospective document. There's actually less stuff than there has been for the last 3 release cycles. So if you've thought of moderating a retro, but you weren't sure that your timekeeping skills were up to it, this would be a good one to start with.
Yep. Okay. So there's that. How are we looking on office hours, George?
Both office hours and meter contributors are done for the year, other than one session this afternoon. So we're all set.
Okay. Just under the impression.
I do need volunteers for meter contributors though for January.
Yeah. I don't know about this SIG, but I know my SIG testing, we're kind of like done for the year. Between CubeCon and the holiday lull, we may have one more meeting. So that's why I'm thinking out in terms of January. If you feel comfortable for January meter contributors and office hours, great. Okay, and then finally, I'm supposed to run us through our project board. So let me pull up a window and share just that window so that some random notifications don't pop up, because that's always a fun thing to have happen. Am I sharing? Okay, cool. So this is our project board. You can get to it by going to the Kubernetes org and looking for projects. It's one of 3 projects that's there. It's org-wide. As far as I know, anybody who is a member of the Kubernetes org can manage this and add things to it. So the way we do this is I think we walk from blocked backwards. Paris, can you speak to why we're blocked on one-on-one mentoring process improvements?
No time.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
That would be the same reason that sub-project details and 6 YAML with more working group info are blocked, just to remind people of what this is about. Sub-projects are currently defined by a list of owners files. It would be great if we could attach humans and human contact info to that, but we need to make sure this is done in a way that they don't fall out of date. And working groups are entities within Kubernetes that span multiple SIGs. Wouldn't it be great if we had a list of what those SIGs actually were? So if we could add a way to do that. And I think both of these could definitely be done by newer contributors, actually. So I will see if I can find a way to skip those out for that. I'm going to skip over the future cycles thing unless anybody has anything there they really want to talk about. In progress, establishing a community content style guide. That would be Mr. Bobby Tables.
Working on that right now. Should hopefully have something, well, at least good to go by the end of CubeCon.
Awesome. That's fantastic. Let's see. Chair and TL training. I know that there's a session for this at the summit, at the contributor summit. Is there anything else we need to know about this?
Nope. We are going to run our MVP at the contributor summit. George and I are going to take certain sections of that and mostly be a lot of demos, like demos how to run a SIG, how to run a Zoom meeting, how to kick people out, how to properly set up a calendar invite, how to do all the things that you need to do for your micro community. And
Okay.
that's going to be our first iteration that's coming on Monday.
Are any of the talks at the Contributor Summit being recorded
Yes.
All of them are.
on video?
Yes.
Yeah, I died on that hill.
Thank you so
Yep.
very much.
Yep.
I love this. Yes.
Yep.
That is fantastic, because I feel like there's a lot of talks there that could be really, I mean, they might not be perfect, but I'm sure just like reposting them might help a lot. Okay, speed more mentoring for CubeCon Seattle. Where are we on that?
We are ready to go. Tim can probably add some other color as well, but I know we definitely need more mentors. So if you are listening on this call or to this recording, please see yourself into one of the mentoring sessions that are happening on Wednesday of next week. There is an early morning AM that is, I think it's like 7:45 AM local. And then I believe there's an afternoon slot, which means there's something for everyone. Yes, you can mentor if you've only been on the project for a month. Mentoring is about the journey, not about the solution. And the journey at CubeCon is for both operators as well as community folks. Tim, anything else? We did sell out on the mentoring, the mentee piece. I think they had like 280 registrations. And I think the last time I checked, we had something like 50 or so registrations for mentors, so that you can see the imbalance that we have.
For mentors, I've been poking people and I've gotten a few more folks to sign up. And one of the things that I think this is a key place where people have some imposter syndrome, and I'd really encourage you to like Paris said, this is about the journey. Each of you that's here in a SIG meeting has had something for a journey engaging in Kubernetes and knows something that's useful. So many of the folks who are signing up as mentees, they're completely new, they're disoriented, they're wanting to make their first engagement, and just seeing a human face-to-face at a table with a couple other people in a small kind of cozy environment. And the speed mentoring part is like, it's literal. You're talking to people for a couple minutes, and then the people rotate around the table, you talk a couple more minutes. So like, if you can share what you've experienced over the last year engaging in the community and what your path through that was in sort of 2-minute time spans, you're a perfect mentor. So please consider giving back and sharing with that. It's super informative to the mentees to hear from others. And ping me T-Pepper on Slack if you want to know the specifics of where to sign up, please, please.
And then I saw Gwen had her hand up.
And this might very well be filed under Gwen needs a personal assistant at this point, but I signed up for it and there wasn't really a way that I saw to sign up for one of the slots. Am I the only one with this experience? I don't want to have goofed because I cannot make 35.
There was an error on the setup side with the form. There is going to be an email that's going to come out. Tim, correct me if I'm wrong on this detail, but it's supposed to be coming out today to all of the people that signed up to ask them to sign up for a certain session. The form that we have now for mentors does capture that session. So we did go ahead and correct that, but we can't correct a retro.
Yeah.
So the email is going to be coming out today with that info.
Awesome. I am not going nuts. This is great.
Yep.
Sounds like a Kubernetes contributor experience to me. Okay, content strategy for the contributor site. Guessing lol nothing because KubeCon. Sorry, because KubeCon lol.
Praise KubeCon. That is correct.
Cool.
Yeah. Is Matt even here? Like, we should talk about this at the summit. If we get a chance.
I agree.
Okay.
Those people that responded are going to get an email from me, hopefully at some point within the next 2 weeks. That email is just going to be setting up our little first hoorah, and the hoorah is going to be things just talking out our mission, objectives, and then breaking off into task groups. Task groups being people like leading focus groups, leading survey analysis, and attempting to get us to a point where we have an MVP for content. like right now, George can speak to this as well. He's redoing the KEP for the contributor site to include some more detail about that. We already know that we want to do obviously KEPs surfacing and events surfacing. Those are the two things that we know absolutely have to go in an MVP. But while we surfaced the docs in Kubernetes/community, we noticed that our docs are not web friendly. Why should they be? I don't think anybody had the mindset of when they were doing docs for community that they were going to be, needing to be web friendly. So that's where Bob's work comes into with the style guide. We have to make sure that when people are checking in documents into Kubernetes community, that they're doing so with that extra mindset that this might be published and surfaced to websites. So using things like the word etc. Is not necessarily appropriate for a website, especially like the first line of a website. So we need to think about how we surface those documents and what we're surfacing to be web friendly. So that was a long-winded response to that, but that's coming. It's just CubeCon is in our way at this point.
Cool. I think you maybe touched on a couple other of these, but contributor experience survey results. What do we need to do to close this out?
More time, more bodies.
In terms of scope, are the checkboxes here? There's a checkbox that says respond to everyone who left an email that had follow-up questions.
Yeah, I have not done that yet.
Okay. Writing a blog post.
Have not done. I have like half of that done. The pretty graphs are like 90% done. I just went back to the designer and told them that we needed to do something different because I didn't like the design. So now we're still in a pretty much a stalled state with most of this stuff. So if people want to have cycles and contact people that answered questions, please reach out to me.
Okay. I plan on at least taking some of the survey angst and cheers with respect to automation and covering that during the automation and CI talk at the Contributor Summit with Christoph. And I'll make sure that there are appropriate GitHub issues and stuff to link to for that.
I do have some decent graphs on some of that stuff, so I'll download them and give them to you.
Awesome. The communication and collaboration platform sprawl assessment. Sounds like you mentioned.
So close to being done with this issue. So close. It's ridiculous. The so close piece is that on the inventory document, we have a list of, oh no, I'm next for being locked out at the tech stop. The inventory document, what we need to do right now is just pretty much explain the audience that's on each platform and like other notable data about that platform, because that's key. Because if we're going to do an enhanced communications markdown document, then we really need to know the how, who, and why to post there. And that's kind of what the enhanced version is going to give us. So for instance, it's going to be like, the canonical sources of truth according to Kubernetes. And then it's going to be like unofficial channels and why you should post there, like where to go to get support, and all of that stuff will go into there. So I mean, I think we're rounding a stage with the inventory where we're pretty much done at this point with inventory. We still need a lot of Google groups to be documented, but I feel like we've captured a lot of the core artery Google groups at the very least. And then we'll pretty much be closing this down as soon as we get the audience information and other notable data about each one of those communication networks.
Okay, Bob, you are my hero for taking notes. Thank you very much. Auditing Zoom license holders.
Yep, this wraps into Zoom and YouTube automation. We realized during the Zoom audit that we did that we are still having a hard time getting chairs on board with the Administer via piece to Zoom. It's difficult. I feel like everybody right now sees the front end of Zoom, which is really awesome and wonderful as from a user experience perspective. But the problem is with chairs, they have a lot of administrative work that goes in behind Zoom and making the community safe. Zoom has a ton of different toggles, and if you like uncheck one box, then I think everybody's been in SIG meetings here where like either the person couldn't start the meeting, or like this person didn't have the credentials, or like whatever it was. So this is actually, I'm probably going to be closing this shortly. I'm sorry, this is the rollback issue. I thought we were on the Zoom audit.
So we are on Zoom audit. I guess what I was trying to get us to is it sounds like that isn't going to really happen until we roll.
Well, no, we did the Zoom audit, and that's what in the Zoom audit, we found that over half of the SIGs are still not using the proper functionality of Zoom. And therefore, we're going to be doing this new rollout of how we approach Zoom, which is SIGs will need to add their meetings to our main account, and then the main account can control the meetings. So then that's leaving less work on our chairs and less work for us to have to train them. And like there's been at least 80 hours worth of work, I'd say, that's been put into Zoom, both administration, policy and procedure creation, and working with Zoom security and making our communities safe. And I think we could greatly reduce that time and that overhead burden if we only had a few experts in the community who managed the Zoom account for us. And then our chairs can get back to things like moderating meetings and less about Zoom administrivia.
Okay. Is Ihor here? So we have a bunch of GitHub service accounts that we removed. What did we do? We removed all of the users from the GitHub org, but we're not sure that we can delete the Google groups that correspond to all of these users because we're not sure if the GitHub users have also been deleted. Ihor, I think you had said you were going to take something on about this, but it's getting a little hazy for me at this point.
As far as I remember, we haven't decided what should we do at the final end because of this issue that we cannot delete GitHub accounts because they can be used by someone.
So effectively,
if you can,
like, I think this is about chasing down all of the individual SIGs and reminding them they should delete these accounts if they're not using them, right? Because we can't delete the Google group unless the user that signed up with that Google group has been deleted. Otherwise, we lose all ways to recover that GitHub user. This might be a thing worth adding to the SIG chair guide at the Contributor Summit for what it's worth.
Yeah, that makes sense. Maybe we can add it as one of the action items for one of these weekly digests that Paris sends to the SIG chairs weekly, so we can finally ask them to do it.
Okay, I'll add a note to this later. I'm terrible at this. Finally, the contributor experience charter. Let's see here. Is this the appropriate one? Yeah.
I need to make your changes. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I just wanted to let you know that I need to make your changes and that I know I'm late and I just don't have the time. So
that's okay. I also need to hear from the other chairs of the SIG so that it's SIG Contributor Experience's charter and not SIG Paris's charter.
Christoph and I have been talking in Slack, which I know is probably not appropriate either. Is Christoph on the line?
He is not, unfortunately. In fact, I don't see any other of the other chairs, so I won't belabor that anymore. Y'all aren't the only SIG without a charter. Don't worry.
Yeah, well, I just want to make a record that we were the first SIG to put in a charter. Just want to make that record.
So we're at the 30-minute mark, and I know there was a lot of open discussion stuff. Are there any other issues on the board here that somebody would like to talk to specifically? George, hand.
Real quick, the sunset procedures, Aaron, you and I did, so we can close that one out.
We did. Okay. I think I still had that open for some silly reason. I gotta look.
Yeah, we could do it afterwards. I just wanted to mention. Yeah.
Yep. That's I was reviewing that for steering this morning. Okay. Awesome. I will stop sharing that screen and take us back to the Brady Bunch, and let's see here. Oh, wait, I don't actually see anything for open discussion. I was looking at the wrong portion of the notes. So does anybody have anything? How's it going? Anybody want to talk about anything?
We already covered CubeCon.
Right?
Don't die. Nobody die on the way there. We all have to make it there. Then we can perish.
Well, damn.
The mix of excitement and dread.
I'm just trying to make it. Just trying to make it.
What?
The diversity lunch is sold out.
Awesome.
It's sold out in 8 hours, y'all. I'm so excited about that. Like 250 people or something ridiculous. Just to come and see Chris and I and pair program and do hands-on Kubernetes support. 70 people said they wanted to pair program, y'all. 70! What up?
That's awesome.
What
That's
up?
very cool.
That is what I'm talking about. That is a diversity lunch. Action-oriented diversity and inclusion. That's what we are about here. Anyway.
Woo! So like I said, I'm thrilled to hear that the talks are going to be recorded. I know there is also an unconference track for the Contributor Summit. Could you walk us through what that process is going to be like and whether or not those are going to be recorded? Because I've had people ask about that and get freaked out that we want to meet about something, but we're not sure that we're going to be like guaranteed a slot or time to do that.
So you want me to take this one?
Go
All
for
right.
it, George.
So starting at the social event the night before, you will come see me and I will have 4x6 cards, which I've already packed, and a ton of markers and stuff. And then if you want to write a session, and then we have a sign that says Unconference, and we'll actually have that at the social event. And you could start to write, oh, this is really neat. If you're interested in the session, we'll have +1 stickers, or you can put a dot on the card, whatever I decide based on what the surface is like. And then we will start to get topics up on the board, okay? Then at the end of the social, I will gather up all those cards, and then before the event starts on Monday, I will set up the board in the contributor lounge again. Then we will start the summit, and I will tell everybody, I will repeat these instructions to everybody. In the morning, if there's a session that you're interested in doing and organizing, write it down and then stick it up on the board, and then we need to have everybody vote on the sessions that they want to go to. Right before we break to lunch, I'm going to grab all the cards, add them up, and then we're going to pick the top 4 sessions, because we only have 4 slots with the most amount of interest, and we're going to schedule those for the afternoon sessions for the official unconference slots, because we only have 4. For everybody else, we have the contributor lounge. There's little areas outside the lobby and stuff. So as long as you have like more than 1 person, you're more than free to grab people and go. However, we do kind of like, we want to tell you, you could go do whatever we want, but we also want to make sure that we have it, that we're not fragmenting the audience, because some of the afternoon sessions really touch everybody. So like, we don't want a death by 100 paper cuts either. That's kind of why we only have 4 slots.
That's totally fair. My only other question is, will the unconference talks be recorded?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
If you Google Kubernetes Contributor Summit, the GitHub page that comes up right before. Oh, thanks. It's linked in chat. I kind of basically wrote down in text what that is, but generally speaking, you'll just see me walking around all morning and all at the social with cards, encouraging people to write down sessions. You're encouraged to like, hey, everybody in Slack, hey, everybody, I'm trying to put together a session for food. Please go vote for it, all that kind of stuff. My only concern is what we're asking people is, please don't game the system and like go vote for every session or something. Like think it through a little bit, because we only do have 4 slots.
Okay. I guess just glancing over this real quickly, another thing I have experienced at previous contributor summits that I'm not sure I see called out here is that we really appreciate people taking notes during these summits, although since they are recorded, that could potentially be less important. But in the past, we've had somebody document each of the talks that they go to or working sessions that they go to and then put those up someplace.
The note-taking is still really valuable in as much as it's summarizing. If you've got a 30, 45-minute video, you don't know whether you want to watch it. And once you have a matrix of almost 100 of those across the day, like being able to glance through at least some summary notes is really valuable, much easier.
Okay, so we could go back and ask all the leads to assign a note taker.
I mean, considering that it's more of a talk format and that it's recorded, maybe that's not super important, but it may be worth keeping in mind for those unconference sessions.
Yeah, it depends. Some of the sessions are very much one-to-many, and some of them are like SIG architecture BOF. You know,
I think if we give the guidance to say, like, if there's key discussion points, open items, or findings that came, like action items or decisions, that somebody write those down, that would, that's lightweight enough maybe to make sense versus fully scribe all the details of all the meetings.
So one thing we have been telling the people who are leading sessions, and we will reiterate this is actually in our intro slide deck, is one of the biggest complaints we got last time is we had sessions, people talked, and then nothing came out of it. Like, so part of the deal for proposing a session is like, plan to have a session that you're going to get work items out of. So a good session would be plans for foo and not, hey, like, let me just give you an example. General PROW discussion would not be an awesome one, right? Whereas actionable items for PROW for the next 6 months would be. So like as people who've already got sessions, we're kind of telling them, this is your only chance to talk to everybody in the project in meet space. Make it count. You should have agenda items. You should have work items. You should have like a problem statement if you're doing a BOF, that sort of thing. But we should probably, I think, formalize the note-taking thing is what I'm starting to lean towards. I'm looking to see if people are nodding or.
It may be worth considering, at least for some of the sessions. Maybe it makes sense. Some of the talks, maybe not so much. But
it probably makes the best sense to put a call out for help that morning, like we did last year, and like get people to like raise their hands, because we're still trying to find help for that day, and we're also still trying to find help as far as room facilitators are concerned. So I feel like if we add on additional roles at this point, it's just going to get overwhelming for people. So I think we should probably focus on the unconference sessions and the BOFs, just because like what Aaron's saying about talks, I feel like the talks are going to be recorded and they can always be summarized at a later time, whereas the BOFs are going to be might be hard to follow along via recording because there's going to be so many people talking, hopefully, and hopefully not at the same time, but that's kind of our utopia.
I feel like we'll have enough people there that if you're starting a BOF, Aaron, let's say, and there's 30 or 40 people in there and you can't get a note taker, like.
Maybe I should not be leading the discussion.
Well, no, what I'm saying is like, you know.
Turn your charm up? I don't know.
there comes a point where I could point to someone and be like,
that's fine.
You're going to have to take notes.
Yeah.
That reminds me, can I put out a call for help now, actually? Sorry, I'm sitting
go
with
for it.
Technical support person. The call for help is we need one contributor experience representative for the SIG meet and greet that's happening, I think at 3:30. Correct me if I'm wrong, on Monday, Gwen. Does anybody here want to take that that's coming to the contributor summit?
I can do that if there's no one else.
Okay, I'll put you on the backup list and see if we can't get anybody else. I think there's going to be some sessions during that time slot that you're going to want to go to, so that's my only concern. Did I put the call out on the mailing list already?
I
I
forgot.
don't think so. Room moderators, yes, that specific session, I don't think so.
Hey, Paris, let me check my schedule and get back to you.
Yeah, SIG meeting
I
greet.
think you're Chris, I think you're room facilitating during that time.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
I should be able to do it as long as there's no like the only thing I'm really assigned to is reg. So I can
Yeah, no, and
probably
Reg
sign
will
up
be
for
done
that.
by that time. So yeah, you should be good, Bob.
Yeah, put me down for that.
Great.
I'll be there too. I mean,
What'd you say, Gwen?
I'll be there too.
Oh no, you need to worry about
need to
other
run the
things.
SIG.
But I need to like make sure people find each other and.
You're still at the Contrib workshop by then, I think. George, I saw you had your hand up.
Yeah, the SIG meeting greet is 3.
Yeah, the SIG meet and greet is part of the workshop.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just the end of the workshops, basically, the SIG meeting
Yeah,
greet.
so I will be physically in the room.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I missed hands. I saw hands.
I was just going to say, Chris, you're on the list for a room facilitator, but if you want to move over to the other room to facilitate that room while you're there, that would work just fine, wouldn't it?
2 for 1, baby.
That works. Yeah.
And then we also have calls for help for different roles. Some of those roles are garage registration. What else? Escalator and stair duty, which is the most unattractive role that we have probably. That's just helping people get to where they need to get. And then what else am I missing? I think there's like 4 to 5 room facilitation slots, meaning like you're going to give the speaker a 10-minute warning. You're going to let people talk that haven't had a chance. You're going to ask people to say their names. Like that's room facilitation. So that's still cool. It's easy to do if you're already going to be in the session. So if anybody sees sessions on the on a list that we can circulate that Noah has already, then I think that would be awesome if you could just slip into a room facilitation spot. But that's it for me for calls for help.
Yeah, and if any of you are going to the Contributor Summit, you just want to get there early so you can get your bag and registration out of the way, and then just like help us out for a few minutes, even if it's just pointing people in the right direction, that'd be awesome.
Okay. Super looking forward to the Contributor Summit. Anything else? Awesome. Cool. I will have 15 minutes to polish up my talks then. Thank you all so much.
Remember, everybody, try to make it. You can make it. Just a few more days.
God, George, stop it.
3 more days.
Look forward to seeing everybody who's going to be there next week.
Yeah.
Safe
Really
travels.
Yeah.
Happy Wednesday.
Sounds good.
See y'all in Seattle on Sunday.
Yep.
Happy Wednesday.
I'll provide you both games.
Sorry about that. Thanks for working with me. I made the stupid mistake of like changing my password 10 minutes before I'm leading a meeting.
No worries.
And then like I think I just got distracted and then went to log in and I remember logging in with my old password and it was like, you just changed it an hour ago. And I'm like, oh, that's right. And then like changed it and then it was like not in. And I'm like,
No worries.
it was literally the same one I just put into there.
All right. Can I just have you
Yeah.
put in that same password you just changed right here, twice, please?
I'm gonna like chicken finger it too.
No worries.
And then in the verify password one too?
The
Or
same
just-
one. Yep. you. What happened to the best of us? I had a lady out. I was. Yeah, there was this lady was doing her Nougat orientation. 10 seconds later, she was like, I forgot my password. And like, you literally just said it. Like, I just pressed enter. Like, just you forgot. She's like, I don't know where it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Germany. Yes.
And so you don't have any other security keys with you? Your laptop? Please log in.
Yes.
We need to just update your computer and we need to have it sync up with the servers.
Oops, that's my email. I was like, oh, is that my?
Yes.
But just know it's not going to work. After we.
Then how do I re-enroll the other one?
Go/SK enroll, security key enroll.
When I get back to my desk tomorrow.
All right.
And
So this
enroll.
Yep. Okay, yeah. Just go ahead and just log into that one as well, please.
No. I tell people that way there when you get back there and realize it's not working, it's not a surprise. You know how to.
Well, I also have like I don't have damn. Another one?
No, this one is we're just gonna resync everything.
Okay, cool.
There's an option here to like resync, so it syncs everything. Go ahead and type in that password.
But then when I enroll the one, will I re-enroll this one again?
Nope, that one will be good enough.
And every month I would be this one.
I think it's like every 6 months. But you'll receive an email before it expires.
Yeah.
So, hey, we're about to revoke your security key for an activity. And everybody says that same thing.
I know. I'm like,
I told somebody else that earlier, and they were like, that's probably hitting $3,500 email. So if that is the common response.
should I put my password?
Yep. Yep. Check off of the screen. That's exactly what the screen will look like. That's like that. Then you would come to your other. Yeah, there you go. That's your now wrong. Yep. No problem. Have a nice day. Marcos. Yeah. How can I help you? Morning. Work at Brazil. So I'm just wondering, have you got another like SIM card up at the moment? Because I've got one too. Yeah. Definitely. Because next week I'm going to New York.
Just running a couple updates here just to make sure everything is okay. Also take your password for me right here, please.
Now I'm sure not to forget it.
Yes. Touch your security. You?
Yeah.
We're almost done here. Once this is done, I'll just go ahead and just restart your computer just to make sure you can actually log on with that same password. You work in cloud?
Yeah.
Oh, Kubernetes snippet.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just on a Kubernetes call. I run the community.
Oh, nice.
We have CubeCon next week, and it's like oversold out. 9,000 people, like 3,000 people on a waiting list. Like,
Nice.
just never.
Do you know Ralph Del Sala and Frank Duarte?
Frank sounds familiar.
His username is FDP.
Yeah, I think it sounds familiar, but I don't know them.
Because I worked with them down in Sunnyvale on the marketplace ops team where we help bring external users stuff onto the marketplace.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and they were in charge of creating the Kubernetes containers and stuff like that.
Nice.
So I just thought, I'm like, oh, maybe they know each other.
Nice.
So real test here is I'm just going to restart your computer.
We shall see if no liquid password holds up. All right. Once that boots up, though.
Yeah. I was.
Okay, then you're good to go.
You were the bomb. Thank you so much. I know I'm like,
Have fun at your conference.
yeah, catching up.
Yeah, take it easy.
Yeah.